Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Gator Gang Network. I am your host, Bobby, and I am alongside with my co-host, Lucas. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Just ready to go at this game. We finally did it, buddy. We finally beat those big.
Yes.
We
Huge
finally.
game. Huge game in Jacksonville. And after 3 years of losing to Georgia, the Florida Gators finally get a huge win. And part of the Florida offense, which is amazing to see. And the defense played pretty good. We'll get into the ins and outs of the game. But first, let's
I
talk
gotta.
about the
I
hype
gotta.
going into the game.
Can I add something? I was really worried the first 2 minutes, first 3 minutes, first.
Yes, and that's one of the beginning things that we're going to get into. If you know anybody who was watching that game, it didn't take long for the game to get very interesting. First play from scrimmage, Jameer
75
White
yards.
on Georgia takes 75 yards to the house. And that is all she wrote. And then Florida gets the ball, and we go three and out. We, punt the ball. Georgia gets the ball back, and they go 61 yards down the field in 2 minutes and 14 seconds,
I'm glad that
and make the game 14 nothing.
which is
So early on in this game, it is 4 minutes and like 47 seconds into the game or something like that, and it's already 14 nothing. Florida gets the ball back, and Kyle Trask and the Gators go down the field and they score a touchdown and make it 14 to 7. Georgia gets the ball. They punt. Florida gets it, and they go down the field again, and they tie the game up at 14. What are your thoughts at when we tied it up at 14?
I was like, okay, we tied it up now. Let's go take this thing.
Exactly. I was thinking the same exact thing. It's a new ball game. It's basically 0-0, tied up at a knot, 14, and Georgia gets the ball back, and they punt. So Florida gets the ball, and we're able to go down there and either take the lead with a touchdown or take the lead with a field goal. Instead, Kyle Trask throws an ill-advised
I
throw,
gotta say that was on
but
Henderson because if you look at the film,
yes,
he ran the wrong.
he ran the wrong route. You got to be at the right place when Kyle puts the ball on there. But either way, rather you want to blame Kyle, rather you want to blame the receiver. It's a
I
pick six, 21 to 14.
I must,
Georgia,
I must add, I was really impressed with the way Kyle Trask bounced back from that.
exactly. He didn't let it sit. He got right back out there and did his thing. And that's exactly what you want to see, in a big game from your big time player. Um, yeah, after the interception, it took two plays to go down the field, 75 yards, 39 seconds. Florida scores, and it's now 21-21. And
Can we just say that Kyle Pitts is a freaking beast and
Kyle
he needs
Pitts,
to catch?
he's a beast. Kyle Pitts is a beast. And one of the things about the offense that I really want to get into is about Kyle Pitts and the Kyle Trask connection because it's huge. Those of y'all who are watching, thank y'all for tuning in. Drop a comment. Tell us what y'all thought about the big win in Jacksonville. Obviously the game wasn't what it was supposed to be, with the crowd and all of that. But when you were watching the game on the TV, it looked like a regular, normal game because the intensity was there. They were going blow for
I will
blow at
say
the
this:
beginning of
Mick
the
was crazy.
game.
Mick was crazy on Saturday. I don't know if you listened to the
Yes,
radio.
I was listening to a little bit of Mick, and I caught the game on YouTube. When they call the plays with Mick, that was incredible as well. Uh, Florida, we go down and we're able to, at halftime it's already 38-21 going into the half, which is
Let's
an
get
incredible thing to know that you scored
let
38 points
on
on
Georgia
the
defense.
number one defense in the SEC. Obviously,
This is not. Let's get something straight. This is not a cupcake team that we. This is no. FCS Cupcake team that we're playing. This is
Exactly. Kyle Trask has, has an SEC record of throwing for 4 touchdowns in 5 straight games. Never been done before. And as Lucas just mentioned, these are no cupcake games we're playing. These are all conference games, and Kyle Trask has broken a record like that.
he was
So
he was
my
not
question is this: can
Mhm.
you imagine how well Kyle Trask would be playing and how many touchdowns he would have right now if they were playing these cupcake games that we had on the
He
schedule?
probably have 30 at this point. You
Yes,
know?
so he's at 22 right now. I think he would at least be at 24, 25, maybe climbing higher than that. But it's incredible to see how that game transpired from at the beginning of the game we're down 14-0 early, and then at halftime we're up 38. We're up 38-21, and really after that,
I will
um,
say I will say that the offense just slowed down after Fentz went out with the concussion.
yes, yes, that's another thing I wanted to talk about was how when Kyle Pitts is on the field, you've got to account for him, whether he's a receiver or whether he's a blocker or whatever he's doing, because if you put a linebacker on him, that's a mismatch. If you put a safety or corner on him, that's a mismatch. So you really got to dissect of what you want to do, of how you want to go about covering him, because if you double him, you leave somebody else open. And as we've seen plenty of times throughout the game, especially early in the game, when Kyle Pitts was in, the wheel route with the running backs was working exceptionally well coming out of the backfield. And our running backs, they received for over 100 yards on the day. Malik Davis actually had 5 targets, 5 receptions, 100 yards. Naquan Wright, had 71 yards. Kadarius Toney, he had 42 yards. Damian Pierce had 41 yards. So these players, they're dynamic. We have a whole bunch of them that we can rotate and always look good. They always look fresh. So it's great to have that kind of offense when you can plug different players in and still have the same type of tempo.
This is the most explosive offense we have had since since the Tim Tebow and Urban Meyer years that I can
Yes,
remember. That I
exactly.
that I can remember.
Yes, Scotty and Scott, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for your comments. Make sure y'all tune in, and keep going with the comments. We'll get to you. We'll address your questions if you have any. But we're going to continue to talk about that offense of how well we looked with Pitts in the game, and as Lucas alluded to, of how we kind of looked sluggish without him in the game. You kind of take away the wheel route when you don't have Pitts in the game because you have to account for him. Because Kyle Trask is really good at putting the ball on the money on all of his passes. Really, the chemistry he has with each and every one of the players, the receivers is amazing. They believe in him. They believe in him. He believes in them. It's what you need to have a good football team. And on the flip side of the ball, when we talk about the defense against Georgia's offense, Georgia's offense was not very good whatsoever, other than the first drive of the one play, 75-yard, and then the second drive, the 61 yards. They had a total
Of
of
227 yards or something like that.
yes, they had a total of 277 yards. And if you were to take that 75-yard run off and that 61-yard drive off, they would have accounted for 141 total yards. So, needless to say, their offense was abysmal. It was poor. It was bad. The quarterback play was horrendous.
Let's just say if we play a team that like Clemson, and some of those passes don't get incomplete, we lose that game. But I'm
Exactly. There are some, yes, the defense is playing better in the last 2 weeks. I believe all the younger players, you're able to put them on film and see what they're good at doing, what they're not good at doing, and kind of plug that in practice, and then plug it in the game time and see how it goes. But to continue talking about the Florida defense, I think the tackling was better. I think the coverage on the back end needs a little more improvement. As Lucas said, there were some passes that were overthrown. There were some passes that were just the receiver and the quarterback were not on the same page. There were some, one of their tight end had the perfect pass and he dropped it. So there's some concerns on our defense that we really need to address going into this game against Arkansas. But all in all, it was a good game. Florida kept Georgia intact.
I'll put it this way: without those 3 turnovers, I don't think we win.
I think we do, even if they had all their starters. I think we were just having that kind of game. The only thing that I would say that I didn't want to happen in that game is Kyle Pitts to go out. And I've seen a lot of negativity on behalf of the Georgia defender. And I'm here to say that it wasn't a dirty play. He went low. Kyle Pitts went low. It's football. It's a bang-bang play. It's going to happen.
You got to remember, he went out woozy too, so it wasn't like just Kyle Pitts went out woozy. It was
exactly. Nobody goes out there and tries to intentionally hurt another player or even hurt themselves as he did on that particular play, because he just kind of laid there limp over Kyle Pitts' legs after it happened. But it wasn't a dirty, malicious hit.
It wasn't like the Cash Daniels play last year with Kyle Pitts when he bent the guy's legs.
Exactly. Kyle Pitts is listed as doubtful for the game. He's questionable. He's questionable for the game. But
I have seen enough. I saw enough last week to trust him in the offense, and
I would say we have other players that can step up in the tight end position. Obviously, he's one of those players that are irreplaceable, but we have other players that can get the job done and fill in for him if he's not able to go. But I know Kyle Pitts is a competitor. He's going to want to be out there. But I would say get him out there, but get him out there limited. Don't play him the whole game. Keep him good, because there's other games down the stretch that we're definitely going to need him for.
Like the SEC championship game.
Yes, exactly. It
would have to take a freaking meltdown for us not to be there, but
exactly, we would have to. It's not official. The SEC is still up for grabs. If we were to lose out, obviously, I believe that we can win out. The rest of our games are definitely winnable. From Vanderbilt to Kentucky to Tennessee to LSU, I believe that we can win them all.
The Tennessee game, for some reason, just scares me because last time we played them in December, it did not go well.
The Tennessee game is one that I have circled on the calendar, and I'm actually toward the end of last year. Tennessee won their last 6 games going into this season. Obviously, this season is a whole lot different than any other season we've ever had in the history of college football. But that don't have to be said to know that. But just this kind of year, anything can happen on any given week. That's just how it is. But now that we kind of talked about this game, Lucas, is there any more that you want to add to the Florida-Georgia game?
No, just move on to this. Move on again tomorrow. Felipe versus Kyle Trask under the lights at the Swamp. Sign me up.
Yes, exactly. So Felipe Franks returned to the Swamp as an Arkansas Razorback after playing for Florida and having his ups, having his downs. It's going to be a bittersweet moment with Felipe Franks on the other sideline.
It's gonna be.
Um,
It's gonna take some. Let's just put it this way. It's gonna take some adjusting. It's gonna take some adjusting to get used to it.
exactly, it's going to be different. I'm cool. Like, if you've ever heard a saying that no matter how good you are with people, how bad you are with people, if you ever heard a saying, even if you're not cool with somebody, I want you to eat, but not at my table. So what I'm saying by that is, I want Felipe Franks to have a good, successful career, but this is at the Gator table. So this game in particular, I do not want Franks to ball out, and we'll just see how he plays. I know he's going to come into the swamp and he's going to have a whole bunch of memories and flashbacks, and he's going to want to play his heart out, and he's going to give
I
it
don't
his
think.
best.
Put
And
it this way.
I think our
I
defense
don't
is going to
think
be
their
up for this
offense. I don't
challenge.
think their offense can keep up with ours, but we'll see.
I don't think their offense can keep up with ours either. On the flip side, their defense, they lead in interceptions and they are fourth in sacks. So their defense is pretty good. They're not like they're not your Georgia defense, but they
But
can
they're
get at
not.
it,
But they're
with their
not bad
secondary.
either. They're not. They're not slim chicken, as they say.
Exactly. So our offense is definitely Kyle Trask has got to be alert on those defensive backs and secondary, because they are ball hawks. They get at it, and they're just going to be ready. But it is what it is. We're ready for the game. I'm feeling a good turnout for this game.
Can you imagine what it'd be like if it was full capacity, 90,000?
I have thought about that for a couple games this season,
No,
particularly.
I'm just talking about this game. How many people would be there for that if it was 90,000?
Oh, absolutely. That's a definitely a game that I would love to go to and get to see. Because I don't have no hard feelings against Felipe Franks. He's a good quarterback. Some weeks he would look really good and like he's ready for the next level, and then some weeks he would look horrible, like you don't even know why he's on the field.
9 touchdowns and 8 interceptions as a freshman, but that was on Mac more than him.
Yeah. Yeah, so Franks brought a lot to Florida, so we can't knock him. I see some haters out there, knocking Franks for how he played at Florida. But when you come to play for Florida, there's a lot of pressure, and some people just can't handle that pressure.
Let's ask
This
anyone
year,
from Tim Tebow and see Sprayer. That's the reason they got statues.
exactly. It's tough to play quarterback at the University of Florida, and you have to have a particular mindset to be that dude.
There's a reason that there's 3 statues, and there probably should be a fourth, but we're not going to get into that.
Well, actually, I think we can get into that because I'm here to say that I believe Kyle Trask should definitely be in the running for the Heisman Trophy. And he is in the running for it,
I don't.
along with Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields.
I don't
Um,
think. I think he's going to make it, but I don't know if he's going to win it.
we will see. For this game, Florida versus Arkansas, for those who do not know, we are wearing the orange helmets, the orange tops, and the white bottoms. So,
Did you not? Did you not see the post I put? I put orange, and
yeah,
oh, and I posted something else about if Tim Mullen wins the game tomorrow, he'll have the exact same record as Steve Spurrier and Urban Myers with 32 games.
that's an amazing stat. And we both know what those coaches have done for Florida. So, hopefully, Dan Mullen can keep that trend going and get us to and win us a national championship. I think we're there. I think this year would be a good year to push for it.
It is.
Um,
I don't
Go
know.
ahead.
Yeah, did you not see that? I posted that in the Facebook page. I thought that would be a good. And another thing about Another thing I wanted to add about this Georgia game, I didn't even we scored 40. We scored 41 points the last 3 years and 44 on Saturday. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I did see that. That was a stat that I wanted to bring up. Thank you for bringing that up because we have scored 41 points in the last 3 seasons against Georgia and Jacksonville. And this year we score 40, 41 in 3.5 quarters, and finish off the game, getting the field goal, making it 44-28. That's an amazing stat. It's an amazing what we are doing. Um, but another thing that we all had our problems with going into the season of how would we be with the SEC being able to have games and what games will be able to be played and what games will not be able to be played.
They're postponing LSU Bama, which is kind of surprising, but not surprising.
Yes, and that's one of the things that I wanted to get into, talking about other games around the SEC.
What are they gonna do? What are they? That's another thing. What are they gonna do with the Florida LSU game? Because they got to play Bama and LSU, don't they?
I was thinking about how they were going to do the rescheduling of the games. I'm not sure how they're going to do that. But this particular weekend, the Georgia-Missouri game has been postponed. The Texas A&M Tennessee game has been postponed. The Alabama LSU game has been postponed. And the Auburn Mississippi State game has been postponed. So that's 4 games that have been postponed for this weekend, and only 3 SEC games will be played. The games that will be played is Arkansas versus Florida, Vanderbilt versus Kentucky, and South Carolina versus Ole Miss.
That's not a very good slate.
I see. Yeah, it's not a very good slate of games. I was really interested in that A&M Tennessee game, and also the Alabama LSU game. Obviously, that game was a game that I had circled in the preseason, looking forward to that matchup. But LSU is not what they were last year. They are not very good. It is just looking really, really bad for LSU.
South Carolina wants to fire Muschamp.
Muschamp, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, he's had some ups, he's had some downs last year. Arguably, one of the toughest schedules in the nation. Playing the games that they have played.
I know this is a Florida podcast, but I just wanted to paint a picture. Last year, South Carolina had to play the number 1, 2, and 3 team in the country, and they lost all 3 of those.
Yeah, exactly. I am not sure who the Facebook user is that was commenting on it, but your brother is going to the game tomorrow. Whoever that is, make sure you have your brother drop some photos and share some his experience of being in the swamp.
Yes, I will be streaming the game tomorrow in the Facebook group like I do every week.
Yes, Lucas will be doing his streaming the game on Facebook. For those of y'all who will not be by TV and you just have Facebook, hop on Facebook, hop on this group, and he will be going live for y'all and going live with Mick Hubert. But as we get into the ending of our podcast, let's talk about what we think the score prediction for the game tomorrow is going to be. And Lucas, I'm gonna give you the floor, and I'm gonna let you talk.
I don't think. First of all, I don't think Arkansas is gonna be able to keep up with our defense. One of my keys is to stop Felipe and make him beat you. I don't think. I know the defense has been a little better, but I don't think he can beat. He can. I don't know. I just think that we're gonna take control and beat them, and it's gonna be 44-10 Gators. Is my prediction. What about you, Bobby?
When I look at this game, I'm coming across a few things. Can our offense continue to play the way we've been playing? And there's no question in my mind that without a doubt we can continue to do it because we've done it for every game. The one completion thing that I really do want to see is playing a complete game from beginning to end offensively. Because when it comes to the second half, we slow down a little
We
bit.
get off to such. Don't mean to cut you off, but we get off to such big lead that then, for some reason, for some silly reason,
and and I love that we get off to a good start and we get the lead. But playing these good teams, they're going to be able to have that
if
comeback
we play against
mentality.
Baylor, we're gonna get beat.
Yeah, that we're able to have that comeback mentality and playing games, and later on in the SEC championship game against Alabama, saying that it is going to be Alabama most likely. So, but then you get into potential, the SEC game, and if you win that, then your chances of being in the playoffs and increase dramatically. And then you really got to play those, three other teams that are really tough. That we can really get at it. But the defense, I want to see, better on the back end. But I got the score 48-17 Florida. I
Now,
see
I got
Felipe.
one more thing. How many picks do you think Felipe throws tomorrow?
I'm gonna say that Felipe Franks has one fumble and one interception,
So 2 turnovers.
so two turnovers. I'm gonna
I'm
say
gonna
he's
go
gonna try
with
to run the ball, and here's why I say that. And here's what gives the Florida defense an advantage against Franks. They know Franks. They know his tendencies of what he likes to do and what he don't like to do. They know what he's good at and what he's not good at. So they're going to force him into situations to where they're to make him feel uncomfortable and put him in that spot where they know what he don't like
But
to
on
do
the
and what
other
he
side of
don't
the
want to do.
coin, he knows our defense too, so he can take advantage of that. So that would be
But we do have some other parts on our defense that are not the same. We have some younger players, but a lot of our play. I mean, I guess there's an argument for both sides. So yeah, you're right. But we'll see what kind of game it is. It's tomorrow. This game versus Florida and Arkansas versus Florida in the swamp tomorrow night, 7 o'clock on ESPN. Y'all definitely tune into that game. If you can't catch it on TV, Lucas will be streaming it to y'all on Facebook. So y'all tune in to his if you're not by a TV. But Lucas, is there anything else you want to touch
you
on
know how we
anything that
end
we've talked about?
you know how we end the podcast. If you ain't a Gator, you must be Gator big.
Yes. If you ain't a Gator, you must be Gator bait.